Hey guys, welcome back to Globe Trekker Gaming. I recently got a game called Suzerain, and I was hoping you could join me for it. So let's get started. Essentially, it's a political simulation game where you're elected president of a country that's gone through a lot of turmoil in its history, and while it does have a narrative that you follow, you really just kind of create your different storylines with it and try to really turn the country around, build up its economy, build up its power in the world, and so on, like that. I played around with it a little bit just to kind of see what it's like, but this is really the first time I'm seriously trying to play it. And it seems like really kind of an exciting game with a lot of different options and really just kind of an interesting historical basis for it. So I thought it would be really interesting. So, kind of the way I wanted to create my character there is I wanted him to start kind of from nothing and build his way up, and then also make him kind of his own independent person that also kind of is I want to say a democratic dictator, where he does what he wants, but it's for the greater good. So I'm going to start off with him. When we start off on his background here, he's going to come from an impoverished family in the city of Dyer. So parents named you Anton, the only child of a farmer. Life was not easy or too poor, so on like that. So during a history class, the bell started to ring unexpectedly. You heard a loud commotion. As everyone tried to figure out what was going on, the principal announced the historic revolution. The kingdom was no more, the Republic of Sordland was born. I'm just going to say I did not fully understand, because I want him to try to be kind of a political outsider. So, looks like he made it to made it to university or college. And I wanted him to study economics, 'cause I think that's a good area for leadership there. Attended a lecture with David Wissy, I'm not sure how to say that. He was a well-known diplomat. After observing the hall in silence, he explained why a market economy is best. I'm going to say I agree with that, because I would say I am a capitalist, so I like the market economy at a personal level. Soldiers entered the campus. Many were in shock as the uniformed men created a security cordon and started arresting the teachers. I'm going to say he protested, even though he doesn't really want to get involved with politics much. I'm going to say that that's like a good way for him to kind of make his establishment as a leader. One of the officers made a loud announcement that echoed through the campus. General Luteran declared martial law. Please stand back and disperse to your rooms. You joined the students that slowly marched towards the large group of soldiers. And they charged. A student fell and was trampled as everybody started running away, but I held my ground. And apparently got beaten relentlessly, so it was a gloomy year. The majority of the students and teachers displayed their opposition, thus Lockhaven became a target for the military regime. I'm going to say you didn't want to stay idle and decide to join. I'm going to say a student council, because that's kind of, even though he's a political outsider, it still shows his leadership there. The council was focused on increasing the student involvement in the campus along with partaking in the budget. So you gained budget management and leadership skills, and met Peter Vectern, who introduced you to a classmate of his, Monica, which apparently Monica's the love of your life there. You were immediately attracted to intelligence, beauty, or diligence. I'm going to say her diligence. That seems like a good spouse of a leader there. She mentioned to you that she was a volunteer for the Sordland League of Women, an organization campaigning for women's rights. You told her you wholeheartedly support her cause. The politically charged environment led you to... see, these both sound kind of extreme there, so I'm just gonna stay away from any political organization. So, the communist general Rickard surrounded Luteran and his troops, demanding their surrender. They refused and heavy fighting broke out. The army was fighting amongst themselves, plunged into chaos, and it escalated into a full-blown civil war, which made you isolate yourself for a while. Monica helped you cope, and the love grew between the two of you, but it was a difficult time for love. And the chaos had to end. So the charismatic Colonel Tarkin Sol orchestrated a sudden attack on the capital, where they were battling each other. He defeated both, ending the war. So really kind of, the two sides, and then the third side comes in there. So a new constitution was written, and he formed the United Sordland Party and ran as a presidential candidate in the first ever single-party elections. I'm going to say I did not vote, because again, my guy's trying to be kind of an outsider who just becomes the leader. The USP, that's the United Sordland Party, won the election by a large majority. Kept seeing Monica after graduation. But looks like then suddenly my guy got conscripted into the military, and it was time to serve your national duty. The devastating civil war from neighboring Wayland quickly turned into a proxy war. The distinguished Major Joseph Lancia ordered you to lead your squad on a border patrol, and apparently it was really cold out. After several hours of marching through the snowy hills, distant noises were heard. Visibility was too low to confirm, so the squad called forward. Looks like it turns out it's a group of refugees. Should I escort them back or let them slip through? I'm gonna let them slip through. It kind of shows the humanitarian aspect of my character. Oh, apparently that wasn't good, because it looks like Major Lancia arrived with anger and immediately relieved you of your command, calling you a disappointment. Well, that didn't go according to plan, so apparently got resorted to scrubbing the floors as a punishment. But duties ended, went back to civilian life. You and Monica decided to share your lives together. After receiving the blessing of her parents, a ceremony was held in Holsword, which I believe that's the capital. Yep, I remember that from just a little bit of mess with this game before. So during the same year, you worked hard to secure a high-paying job. It was more difficult to start your career on a good foot because of the refugee incident, but still managed. I'm going to say it's because it's for the best opportunity to change the country for the better. That really seems like a good leadership element there. You became the economics assistant to one of the more experienced members. You worked long and hard, investigating hundreds of pages of economics reports, but climbed the ladder. Tarkin's soul gave amnesty to the remaining factions. This is kind of a long one there. So it looks like it's slowly started replacing the symbols of the old one there. And apparently led to multi-party elections. So this Tarkin's soul guy sounds like he's on the right track there. The new 5-year plan and subsequent financial work put you under a lot of pressure, but contribution to the economic strategy triggered an invitation to meet President Soul and offered a key position to be the youngest member of the Assembly. I'm still going to say accepted with doubts, because my guy is not really trusting of government. So as the youngest MP, it was difficult to connect with the influential inner circle, so I brought on Peter Vectorn as the right-hand man. And my son Frank was born, so I'm going to say I sacrificed work to spend time with family, because it kind of really fits the narrative of my character. And then Peter Vectorn, during my absence, found trustworthy contacts and strengthened your position, so I guess Peter's a pretty good guy to have with you. Same time, President Soul increased his authority, and his growing ego started to cause strife. Cracks began to show. President Soul barely secured a majority in the election against the opposition leader, and the Swordish people grew increasingly discontent with corruption and the worsening quality of life. Meanwhile, calls for United Sordland Party Congress became louder as the leadership struggle started to brew. I'm guessing by Congress they mean, like, overall just general leadership basis there. That's kind of what I'm guessing it meant with this. So you supported, watched, or joined the opposition. I'm going to say watch from the sideline. It still fits my guy's narrative of kind of an outsider. So Ewald Alfonso he's a reformist and talented business magnate. He had a growing follower base, and then President Soul was meeting with party members one by one and approached me too. The president offered you the position of Minister of Economy, Commerce, and Energy in the next government if you backed him. I'm going to reject it. Even though it's a great opportunity, it still fits my guy's narrative of just trying to be kind of an outsider. Congress was nothing short of impressive. The banners of the United Sordland Party were decorating every spot. Thousands of influential figures gathered for this turning point, and the voting for the leadership began. I guess it doesn't really give me an option. I'm going to go with Alfonso just because he's a new face there. The efforts bore fruit. The contentious leadership vote was won by Ewald Alfonso. Tarkin Soul announced he would retire and appointed him as vice president. You knew the structure he had established was to stay. The country had become increasingly authoritarian. I'm going to say didn't care about who was in charge. I know it sounds kind of not really the best approach there, but at the same time it fits with my guy's narrative. I know I keep saying that, but it's true. A month later, daughter was born. Monica named her Deanna, and she motivated me during the tumultuous time in the party. Ewald Alfonso began dismantling the old organizations and structures established by the USP, such as the State Educators Corp and the State Corporation Bills. The general elections were approaching. The United Sordland Party was under new leadership. You either joined the party effort and campaigned for him, or did your best not to help him, and I'm going to say that one. During the elections, the main opposition leader was embroiled in a sex scandal with his secretary, and he was replaced by the more popular figure Franz Richter, but the damage was done. And it looks like everything went well for Alfonso, and he secured the election for the United Sordland Party. Over the following years, you, I'm going to say did your best to make Sordland a better place. Presidency of Alfonso saw many bold reforms and advancements in liberal democratic values, but due to infighting and disorganization and continental economic tensions, a whole bunch of other things, it was followed by severe economic recession. So this country just keeps going downhill, it seems like, even when it starts to go uphill. So the parties announced their bids for the 1953 election, but the unfair election system hampered opposition efforts to campaign. I'm going to say we're worried about the economic recession. That kind of fits more with my guy's narrative of trying to be a leader, but also an economist. And really, that affects the whole country rather than just the party. So with Petter's help, your presence in the USP grew, and you worked long nights together, and he helped flip opponents. This Petter guy really seems like quite a good character here. So you became the face of the new wing of the party. Step by step and with adequate planning, your wing took over the leadership, and President Alfonso lost control. The moment to make a move had come. You either blamed Alfonso, bribed or extorted Alfonso, or advised him to step down. Let's say advised, because that really seems like the most, what's the term, amicable solution there. So you listened to your advice, and he conceded the leadership struggle, and they voted my guy in because of his indisputable influence. Following this, you announced that you would be running for president, with Petter as your running mate, and Petter's more than deserving of that given his reputation in this prequel here. Or prelude, I should say. After visiting every city and town, you made a speech on state television. You promised to enact democratic reforms or preserve national values. We're going to say democratic reforms. Even though, like I said, I want my guy to kind of be a benevolent dictator, I think the democratic reforms are a good message still, because he's going to be a dictator but for good, which seems kind of contrary to this, but whatever. And the people are tired of empty promises. We need fundamental change in our institutions and government. A solid and transparent democracy awaits us. Brothers and sisters, a new constitution and a new age is upon us. Seems like quite a political speech there. And then millions went out to cast their votes, and it was time to face the truth. And there we go. Chapter 1, President Rayne. Alright, so now here we get the opportunity to create the character here. So I'm going to try to make him look kind of clean-cut. See, what should we do here? I don't want to spend too much time working on him, but if they have just clean-shaven there, let's find just a good haircut. Let's do that one. That looks good. Suit looks good. Background. Accessories, let's give him, like, glasses or something. There we go. That looks dignified and looks like an economist there. Yes, I'm sure about that. Alright, so economic direction. Let's see. So, promote planned or market. I'm going to do market economy. I'm very much in favor of the free market there, so we'll stick with that one. So we have the capitalist Arcasia in the west, the monarchy of Rumburg to the north, and the United Cantana in the east. I'm going to align with the west just because I think getting, you know, kind of sucking up to the capitalist country when I'm trying to promote capitalist ideals will be the way to go here. Last 5 years, Blutish, Weshik, and Agnolian immigrants flocked to Sordland due to relaxed immigration laws. As a result, these tensions are causing requests for a political solution, toughen immigration laws. I'm going to toughen them for now just because it seems like with the country already going through a bunch of problems there, adding a new problem of... Not saying immigrants are going to cause a problem necessarily, but I think stick to the current population we have and then potentially lax that as things continue to grow. Term focus, let's see, we have education, defense, law and enforcement, health. Let's see. I'm going to do education, because I think if you can boost education, that can really help grow the future of the country. So we're going to stick with that one there. Yes, I'm sure about my decisions. Alright, 2 weeks have passed since we won the election. Now this is like from his point of view versus just like a third-party narration. And now I was about to be sworn as the 4th president of Sordland. Thousands were watching the inauguration ceremony and cheering my name, Anton Rayne. The die was cast, and there my story began. In the distance, the Maroon Palace stood on top of the famous Hill of Pride. I had no way of knowing what future awaited me there. I looked at my family. My son and daughter, Frank and Deanna, were next to Monica. Her eyes were glimmering with pride. Then I turned towards the key people who made it all possible. I saw my previous rival and former president, Alfonso, who gave me a slight nod, and Tarkin Sol was invited but didn't come there. My thoughts slowly faded away, the reality of the situation dawned on me, and Orso Hawker, the Chief Justice, was waiting for me. So the time for the oath has come. I'm going to say I am ready. Please repeat after me. Sounds like a pretty... I do solemnly swear. Sounds like the start of any really oath there. I do solemnly swear that I will respectfully execute the office of President of Sordland, and to the best of my ability. This sounds a lot like it's kind of ripped off of the U.S. Constitution with like slight wording changes. Protect and defend the Constitution, or the people and the Constitution of the Republic of Sordland. You may now deliver your inauguration speech, Mr. President. That was a very abrupt ending there. So I'm going to say it's an honor. It's an honor, sir, is what it corrected it to. So my fellow swords sounds like a good political intro there. They looked very eager. I'm going to say the idea of unity, because it seems like it brings like a good sense of hope to the nation. This country and its long history have kept us tied to an idea, and our people's right for a free and prosperous life. We stand together, we prevail, or our capabilities... Say our capabilities, that sounds optimistic. Our workers are no less productive than a decade ago. Our capable minds are no less inventive. Our products and services, so on like that. I promise you, we will stop the recession. The future awaits us. It's time to turn our faces to the west. First, we must rewrite our broken constitution. Now, I'm going to say that we will stop the recession and eliminate poverty. It's time for united and powerful Sordland. Change now, or our capacity as a nation never been greater. I'm going to say our capacity has never been greater. Hundreds of thousands cheered. They were shouting my name in unison. I felt the responsibility, the power, and all the burden all at the same time. Raise fist, wave, or enjoy the moment. I'm going to say wave, which made the people cheer louder. Took a long look at the people of Sordland to burn this moment into my memory. One of the presidential guards came by to notify me that it was time to leave, and made my way to the leading car in the motorcade. Seems like a pretty abrupt ending to an inauguration speech. The presidential state car was a jet black Cadilla, whatever that is, with flags of Sordland above the front headlights. Next to it, a man was holding the door, and that's Serge Walkner. Hello, Mr. President. I still felt euphoric from the aftermath. Hearing my new title made me smile even more. If you allow me to introduce myself, I'm Serge, your new driver. Nice to meet you, Serge. I want to say nice to meet you. It's an honor. Respectfully bowed his head before opening the car door and gesturing inside. And we'll be heading towards the palace. I like how everyone has to tell him where to go, even though he's the president now. Began to move. On the way, Serge proceeded to explain his duties. As the minutes passed by, I found myself lost in thought again, and suddenly gestured out the window. Isn't it a beauty, the Maroon Palace? It seems like it's very much trying to, like, suck up to the plot of the story, where it's like, oh, you think everyone would know that. He was right, though, he was right, sunlight glinted off the palace's many maroon-colored domes. It was so bright I had to look away. Every time I look at it, I am reminded of my duty to this nation. This Serge guy seems like quite a suck-up, I'll say. So it's in good hands, so do I, Serge, the beating heart of the nation. We owe a great debt to the men who led the country from here, and that seems like a good, good way to go. Their service will not be forgotten. Car drove past the majestic gates, continued uphill to the entrance, and stopped in front of the doors. Serge got out and opened the door for me. Have a great day, Mr. President. Morgna West Kore. He referred to the famous Swordish phrase from the times of Revolution. Morgna West Kore, Vector and Sisda. Morning will come. Victory is close. I don't know if that's Latin or it's just like their fictional language or what. So, should I say goodbye? I'm gonna say Vector and Sisda, since that's how this ended here. I made my way upstairs to the extravagant corridors of the palace. Marble and engraved wooden finishes decorated the interior. My footsteps echoed. The guards bowed their heads in respect as I opened the massive doors to my new office. Alright, yeah, looks like that's pretty much the beginning there. It looks like my guy's now officially president of Sordland, and it's time to proceed accordingly. So stay tuned for part 2, and thanks for watching.